Hi everyone, I'm Jo Fry and this is my channel Jojo Fry Rocks, and in this video I'm going to be talking about female guitarists who have inspired me and continue to inspire me, and also some YouTube channels which are female guitar channels that you may or may not have seen, but just in case you haven't, I'm going to sort of highlight some of the ones that are my favourites and what I like about them. Um, and also, this would be a great opportunity as well for you guys to share with me some of your favourites, because I'm guessing that if you're watching this channel, then you probably already have some other favourite female guitar channels that you watch on YouTube that I might not know about, I might not have seen. Certainly, when I was talking to my friend Andy from Guitar Stuff Studio, he pointed me in the direction of some which I hadn't seen before, and I've been absolutely blown away by. So I'm going to talk about some of those as well. And thanks, Andy, for sharing those with me. But yeah, sometimes I think YouTube in particular, the algorithm isn't always that great at necessarily showing us things that we may be interested in, we might want to see, but because we watch a certain amount of content about a particular thing, then it just keeps serving you up the same thing in your home feed. So I watch a lot of cooking based content and also a lot of comedy stuff. So I watch things like Adam Ragusa, Gary Eats, um, and those two sort of intersect where like I watch things like Uncle Roger. And so I keep getting sort of given the same type of things, and that stuff just keeps coming up. So if I want to watch some guitar based content, I have to sort of go looking for it. And now I've got channels that I subscribe to, but sometimes I have to go into my subscriptions and check out what everyone's been doing. So it can be a bit tricky. And I think it's always good to get some different stuff into your feed. So I'm going to go through some today, just in case you don't know of them. This may not be news to any of you, but it could be. So hopefully you'll find it worthwhile. Um, so one of the first ones that I wanted to talk about, it's a t-shirt that I wear quite often on my channel. It's Julian Age. This is her t-shirt. Well, it's not her t-shirt. I don't worry, I haven't like gone to her house and stolen it off her washing line or something. Um, I bought this from her merch site. Um, she is the wife of Richie Kotzen, who I love and who I discovered sort of last year. But through that, I also discovered her music and her stuff that she's put out on YouTube, and in other places as well. But she's a primarily bass player. She's Brazilian. She obviously lives with Richie in Malibu. Um, but yeah, she's absolutely brilliant. She plays bass in the band Vixen, who some of you, or quite a lot of you, I expect, know of Vixen. They've been around kind of since the 80s, and they're really really good. They rock. So yeah, she's mainly the bass player with Vixen, but she is also a guitarist and singer, and well, she plays all sorts of instruments. She's kind of classically trained. She's done some of her own kind of solo work, and a few of her singles are out on YouTube and various other formats, and you can buy them in physical formats as well. Um, the Ride is probably my favourite song that she's done so far. Um, she's only done kind of three or four, but they've all come out over the last few years. But she just seems like a fun, cool person, and her personality is just really bubbly and engaging and fun. And she put out some videos on YouTube. I think it was during the COVID lockdowns, called Bass and Bake. She did this kind of mini series. So it combines some of my favourite interests, like music and cooking. Um, and she did her own little kind of mini cooking show, which was super fun. And, as I say, I think it was inspired by not having a great deal to do during lockdown. But she was clearly making the best of it. And watching through those it really brought a smile to my face. So Julia, who's lovely and fun, and also amazingly talented, is definitely worth checking out if you haven't heard of her before. Another female guitar channel that I subscribe to on YouTube is Mary Spender, and she's getting pretty well known now. I think she's at something like 780, 800,000 subscribers. She's pretty good friends, I think, with Rick Beato. Um, she's been around on YouTube for quite some time. She's got an album out, and I think she's going out on tour this year. So um, go and have a look at the tour dates. And I definitely will try to get to see her if I can, because she is an incredibly good guitarist, like 100 times better than I could ever be, even if I practiced 20 hours a day for the next 10 years. Um, she is so, just her songs are so beautiful. Her songwriting is incredible. Her singing, I love her voice. And so the whole package, the whole deal is just so worth going, watching, listening to. She's also a really good YouTuber. Like, she's been doing this for a good few years now, and everything that she talks about is interesting, it's relevant, it's thoughtful, um, and she's got a really lovely way of presenting things and getting her points across. And she's very articulate and well spoken. And to be honest, like, if I was 10 or 15 years younger, that's that's who I would be aspiring to be. Like, I would want to be Mary Spender. Um, well, I want to be Mary Spender. Like, let's face it, I want to be 15 years younger and brunette and and really elegant and amazingly talented. Yeah, I want to be her. Um, but I would also like for all of you, if you haven't seen her, to go and check her out. So I wanted to also just highlight some of the female guitar players that I've kind of been following or that have inspired me um, over the years. And you all probably know of them already, but just in case you don't, Nita Strauss um, is one of the leading guitarists in the world um, right now. She's had quite a lengthy career already. Um, she's been in Alice Cooper's band. She's done a lot of her own solo work, and she just absolutely rocks. And she's really famous, so I guess you probably already know of her. But I just thought it was kind of worth saying that she has been one of my influences. Um, and Orianthe as well. And she's really interesting. She's quite a few years younger than me, certainly. But she was one of these kind of early teen prodigy type players. Um, and it was still like a couple of years before like YouTube really took off and stuff. So I think she was kind of on MySpace originally, but she was a teenager when she was kind of discovered by Steve Vai, of all people. Um, and she's Australian, so I think he sort of came across her. I think it was a mixture of like there was a buzz, I think, around her on kind of MySpace. Um, but he kind of went to see her play in Melbourne, I think, and yeah, so he then sort of like championed her and mentored her, and she kind of played with him a fair bit. But she is just incredible. Like she's amazing. She's also a great singer as well. She's done quite a lot of her own stuff. I think she's also been in Alice Cooper's band. I feel like Alice Cooper's band is a bit like sort of jury service for guitarists. Like at some point everyone has to do a turn. Like particularly if you're a female guitarist, you have to do a turn. I'm like I haven't had a call yet, but you know there's still time. Uh, but no, I think you have to be at that level. Really, you know, you've got to be at Nita or Orianthi's level. So I don't think that call's going to come my way necessarily. But still, you know, I'd like to think that if Steve Vai had been in Weymouth in 1996 at a village hall where my band was playing for the Scouts Halloween disco, and he'd seen me playing Under the Bridge and Johnny Be Good. Um, like that could have been me. I could have been Orianthi, and I could have gone out with Richie Sambora, um, but it didn't happen, and that's a lot of ifs in that scenario. So yeah, let's kind of leave it there. It's not about me. It's about the guitarists who have inspired me, and she is definitely one of them. She wears a hat, which I've said before. You know, if you don't have a hat, are you even a guitarist? Frankly, um, so she shares that sort of point of view clearly, and she's also just a real guitar enthusiast. You know, she's really passionate about the instrument, even still, even now. I've seen quite a lot of fun videos of her and Richie actually going into like vintage guitar stores and you know just getting really into it and picking up all these incredibly old rare sort of valuable instruments and you know how lovely to sort of like be in a position where you could walk out the store with one of those if you wanted to, but she's worked hard for that and she's earned it and she deserves it, and she's awesome. She's an awesome player and just all round kind of awesome person. um and I think it really kind of speaks to how how great she is and Richie, that like they still do, or they have, you know, still been doing kind of musical projects together, even since they split up and we're not a couple anymore. So they're obviously still really good friends, and I think that's really heartwarming and nice. But yeah, yeah, just can't say enough about how much I love her. Um, so do go and sort of like check out her solo stuff when she was in, and you know when she was in Alice Cooper's band, when she was doing stuff with Richie Sambora. Um, you know, just go look her up, check her out if you haven't heard of her before. Um, so just wanted to kind of highlight those two, I suppose, as two of my particular favourites, um, and who kind of I think represent some of the best guitar talent in the world in 2024. So I've been checking out some of the recommendations, as I said, from Andy from Guitar Stuff Studio, and I honestly am just just completely overwhelmed really by how astoundingly good some of these female players are. And I like instantly kind of connected with what they're doing and their music, their style, and their guitars and things. And so I think some of you, if not all of you,
And if you haven't heard of these players, you'll be really interested in going to check them out and have a look at their channels and things. One of them is actually another Brazilian lady called Larry Basilio. Apologies if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Um, but she is absolutely awesome. She does kind of different variety, I suppose, of different styles of playing. Some of it is a bit more kind of classically influenced, I think. But she also does some super cool, um, awesome funk guitar, which is so up my street. I just love it. Um, so I've just been listening to it loads and getting really into it. And she's kind of done lots of interviews really across a lot of different YouTube channels. So I'm surprised that I haven't come across her before. She's been on things like the Guitar Geek, which I subscribe to, Guitar, which is another channel that I watch all the time. So I just must have missed her somehow. I don't know how, but she's very eloquent when she goes on there and talks about her playing style, the tone that she's able to get from her guitar, which is just gorgeous. So she has a signature model, a custom made signature model guitar by Ibanez. It's called the LB1, um, obviously her initials, and it's a gorgeous thing. I mean, it's a stunning thing. I think it's a gorgeous guitar. Um, and it's really interesting how she's approached it. She's obviously thought about the different styles and different things that she does, different music that she does. And she wanted sort of to have one guitar that could do everything, all the variety of stuff that she wants to do. Um, and so she kind of put a lot of thought into how how they could achieve that and worked with Ibanez to design and produce this guitar. And I think that sort of testament to both like her knowledge of guitars, her skill as a guitarist, um, and the kind of it's really kind of a different mindset, I suppose, to sort of myself and I guess a lot of guitarists who think that you've got to have a different guitar for everything that you want to do. Every different style of music has to have a different guitar. I think that's something I'd actually like to dig into a little bit more and explore a little bit more because I am guilty of that. Guilty as charged. Like I am one of those people that thinks I've got to play Beatles songs on a Rickenbacker. I guess that's all. I can't use that for anything else. I've got to use the RG 550 for 80s rock and metal, and I really do get kind of stuck in this mentality, um, and then you end up getting more and more guitars and acquiring, what is it, GAS, guitar acquisition syndrome, and Laurie she's just the complete opposite of that. It's so refreshing. Um, so, go and check out this amazing musician getting a beautiful tone out of a beautiful guitar, but doing different things with it in different styles. Um, and I'm going to be listening to a lot more of her stuff in the future.
Another YouTube channel that I've come across recently that I really enjoy. I'm really enjoying. It's got a lot of different varied content from kind of songs and playing guitar playing to kind of tutorials, a bit of stuff about gear reviews, just kind of a little bit of everything really, and all presented in a really nice way. Is a girl called Juliana Wilson, and she's an Argentinian girl. She is a musician. She's also a guitar teacher, So that's why there's kind of a mix of stuff on her channel. Um, and it's very, again, it's very, the content's very varied. Um, Her playing is right up my street. The stuff that she's into sort of really intersects with stuff that I'm kind of into, in terms of rock, guitar. But some of it is quite influenced by like classical or neoclassical stuff. She's a really, really good like shred guitarist. She's so awesome. So she does quite a bit of stuff like Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen, um, and she does her own original music as well. And so her songs, her music videos are on there. Um, and I think she's got a really engaging personality, and yeah, her tutorials are great as well. So I'm going to be checking out some more of those. Hopefully learning some stuff, some different stuff that I haven't played before, um, and listening to a lot more of her music, and just going through all of her sort of back catalogue of videos, because I've been really enjoying what she's been doing. So again, that's another new one that I didn't know, um, but I'm gonna be exploring a lot more of going forward. Another great female guitarist that I've recently discovered this year is Kiki Wong, who has recently joined the Smashing Pumpkins as their touring guitarist. I think yeah, she was chosen, yeah, earlier this year, I think in January. I think there was something like 10,000 applicants when Billy Corgan put the call out. So uh, that kind of speaks for itself, really. But I think she's been in quite a few bands. She's definitely been out touring with Taylor Swift's band. She's done quite a lot of high profile stuff, I think, in the past. There's not that much on her actual YouTube channel, um, but from what I have seen of it, she's got quite a few shorts on there, and it is an absolute masterclass in how to do guitar shorts. I mean, she's so fun and entertaining. The way she kind of sort of slides into shot, and she just does the guitar faces so brilliantly, and also her playing is amazing and out of this world. And I just don't need to say this really at this point about these players, because they're phenomenal. They are so talented. um, but I think with Kiki, it's also kind of the performance as well that she puts on along with it. She's got so much personality, so much. She's just so cool. I really love her, and I think she's going to do amazingly well with the Smashing Pumpkins. I think they made a good choice. Definitely made a good choice there. One female guitarist who's doing really well at the moment is Sophie Lloyd. She's in Machine Gun Kelly's band, and he's not somebody that I he's not somebody that I particularly like in terms of his music and stuff. That's kind of not really my bag. But her stuff, so her the stuff she does on YouTube, the sort of shred covers of like classic rock songs, are absolutely brilliant. Loads of fun. Um, and I feel like she's got a kind of Jennifer Batten kind of influence or style. I can definitely see it and hear it in her playing. She's definitely kind of always been into the 80s rock, and that's a clear influence that I can hear and I can see, and that's right up my street. So she does kind of these shred versions, but they still kind of stay true to the originals in a way that sort of really conveys the actual song. So it's brilliant the way she does it. It's very original, and she's really really good at it. and her own music as well, her own songs that she's written. Like she's done an album, um, and again, it's just great. And she talks quite a bit about the things that have been barriers or have held her back, like having imposter syndrome. And I can well imagine like how that could have almost put a stop to her whole career, and she's managed to overcome that, which is a huge thing. And I think that's something that people don't probably talk enough about, actually. And I think we've probably all experienced it at some point, whether it is in our playing or whether it's just in our lives or in our jobs and careers. That's something that can be a real blocker to a lot of things. And so I think talking openly about it and about kind of how she overcame it is really, really positive. So I think she's a really good positive role model, as well as being a really, really talented guitarist and great fun to watch and listen to. Um, and just, you know, seems like she's one of the most prolific and sort of prominent guitarists in the world right now. So again, that's a huge positive for female guitarists everywhere. So my final recommendation for this list is another Sophie. This one is Sophie Burrell. Burrell. She's somebody that I came across quite recently. um, she's very sort of metal, I'd say, but very, I use that term very loosely because that's not really my bag either. But from kind of Megadeth through to kind of Korn, Slipknot, Polyphia, so whatever kind of music it is you want to call that. Um, but she does all that kind of stuff. But it was when I was trying to look for some things to play to do demos for my Line 6 video. And I was going to try to surprise you and blow you all away by playing, busting out a Korn or Slipknot riff or something, or intro or solo or something. Um, so I was looking for some tutorials, and her channel popped up in my searches a few times actually, and I just had a look because that was something I was looking for, and I sort of had to conclude that I wasn't actually going to be able to achieve that. Um, the best I could come up with was, I mean, and it really did pain me to do Nickelback, but I got over myself and did it. Um, and I attempted Linkin Park Crawling. I'm not convinced that I actually managed that one. I had to put the guitar into drop C sharp, and I'm not sure it was right. It didn't sound right. But no one's really mentioned it, so I may have got away with it. But anyway, looking at her channel, she, she's an amazing, brilliant, very talented guitarist. She, like I say, she's done loads of different stuff, covers of things that I do like, actually, like Paramore, um, which is a band that I have been into in the past. And it's also kind of a mixture of like some gear reviews as well. So she's sort of talking about pedals and things, which is something that I'm interested in finding out more about. So I started watching some of her videos on different pedals and like how to get great tone on a budget, and which is kind of perfect for the kind of things that I want to do. She's also done some Alice in Chains stuff as well, so then that kind of pulled me in even more. Um, and she does a lot of sort of commentary and sort of chatty videos, a bit like I do, I suppose. So she comes across as really, really sharp, really down to earth, good sense of humour, and in fact she actually
addresses. There's at least one of her videos where she addresses in a really sort of humorous way the some of the pitfalls and difficulties that she's faced as a female guitarist on social media. And I really like the way that she's done it. I really like her approach, and it's all done with humour and wit and intelligence. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be watching a lot more of her stuff, and probably looking at some more of her tutorials, and trying to expand my own musical tastes, I guess, because I really think I should push myself, especially if I'm doing this channel. Um, so that's going to help me, I think. But yeah, if you haven't seen her before, I think she's got a fairly decent following, 664,000 subscribers, which is pretty decent, but she could always do with a few more for sure. So go and check out Sophie Burrell. That's the end of my personal list of recommendations for female guitarists and female guitar YouTubers. I'd love to know if there's anyone that you know of, that you watch all the time and that you find really engaging and entertaining, that I don't know about. Please, please do tell me in the comments. I'm going to put links in the description to all of the channels and the key kind of like videos and interviews that I've mentioned. So um, go and have a look, have a click, check them out, and yeah, let me know what who should I be looking at, and you know, who should I be getting my inspiration from, particularly for this channel going forward. That would be really great. Thanks, everyone.